It's like a continuation of from last Friday.
I know.
I,
The Odd Couple's back, not us.
I really do. And the show was great as a kid. In the 70s, I watched a lot of TV. I don't know about you, Craig, but
I
you know,
did.
as of
Yeah,
those kids, I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books, but I love great shows. The Odd Couple was a great show.
I definitely watched The Odd Couple, the show. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Who
and
did you
what
like
we're
better,
talking about?
Felix or Oscar? Who'd you like better?
Oh, I don't remember who's who. I mean,
Felix Felix was the Tony Randall character. He's a very particular one, and Oscar was kind of like Oscar the Grouch. I always thought because he was kind of grouchy. He was a slob, and he was a sports writer. He used to throw stuff on the clothes on the couch and everything.
now the same two guys are the guys that were in Grumpy Old Men, right?
Well, no, those two guys were the original actors in the movie The Odd Couple.
On the movie.
Yes,
I'm
the one
getting
we talked about.
confused.
I'd never even seen.
We're talking about Jack Klugman, Quincy,
Yes,
and Tony Randall.
that's correct. That they were the actors that performed those characters in the show.
I can't believe I remember that.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty scary.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember that, right? I mean, that's
So anyway, fast forward,
Oh.
you know, past
Yes.
Quincy
Yes.
to the current Odd Couple, which is Donald
Right.
Trump and Jerome Powell.
President Trump, President Fed Reserve Powell. And
Yes.
what's the latest in the news too? So we talked on Friday, Craig, and you brought up that chart
did.
that you had created, right?
We did.
And you were talking about mortgage rates, and I remember you were saying something like, "Hey, I've got this chart. I study this. So there's a narrowing right there. There's a narrowing of the chart, right?
Yeah, so we were talking about this is the 10-year Treasury and how it was kind of narrowing down into this point and it was going to have to pick a direction. Usually what happens is and sometimes it can break out one way or the other. And we looked at this and had this conversation before the jobs report. And so the jobs report comes out Friday. There are less jobs that were created than were expected. But the big thing that moved the market, and the markets moved a lot Friday, was the fact that they revised the prior numbers down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so a lot less jobs have been formed over the last X period of time. And so yeah, definitely caused stock market went down.
Yeah.
And the treasury rate went down, mortgage rates improved, and so so that's been interesting. And so maybe this is the start of something good here for the next bit.
It could be. I mean, there was
Yeah.
250,000 jobs was the revision. That's a 250,000 jobs that they had to revise. And then the President Trump goes off and fires the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics on Friday, saying they do a bad job. They're a Biden appointee. They don't know what they're doing. So he's going to fill that role, right? And then I start reading these things today online. Everything. So he's going to fill that role, and then one of the board members of the Federal Reserve Board decides that she's going to retire. She's going to go. I think she's a chancellor at Georgetown University. Her name's Adriana Kugler. So he's got to replace her. So now he's got to replace the Bureau of Labor Statistics person, one of the Fed board members, and then eventually keeps talking about Powell, replacing Powell. So what we see, I mean, what do we see here? He's got an opportunity here to maybe make some moves.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things that I've heard is that he's talking about, hey, I've narrowed it down to 4 people, and he's talking about basically announcing his pick for the next Fed chair now, which is kind of something that could move the markets a little bit, because we talk all the time how when everybody tunes in to see, hey, did the Fed lower rates, and then they'll hear, hey, the Fed did lower rates or the Fed raised rates, and then they're expecting that rates move in that direction, and that's not always what happens. It's because the markets, because the Fed, they control the short-term rates, the overnight rates.
Yeah.
But all of the rest of the rates in the market are really determined by the market participants.
Yeah.
And so the market participants are always looking forward. What's going to be happening in the future? So as soon as he names whoever the new Fed chair is going to be,
Yeah.
then the thought is that the market could adjust to that, because now they'll say, okay, well, we know who it is. We know when that person's going to be taking it into account.
Right.
And so how do we adjust our positioning in the market? And you could see things, could see things happening. So
Yeah.
um,
And the replacement for this person, this Anna Kugler, Fed board, one of the governors, I mean, she's on the opposite side of the political aisle as him. So he's going to have an opportunity to replace 2 people here, which, That's a
So
big,
yeah, and
big move.
he's certainly gonna be appointing people that see things his way.
Right.
Now just because he's doing that, the market needs to believe that, obviously he wants rates to get lower. He would like rates to be lower for home loans and everything else. That's the market's going to need to believe that. The jobs report thing is helpful for that cause. Next week we have an inflation report, the CPI report.
Yeah.
And so if I would say if that comes out, usually the two big reports of the month, you get the jobs report and you get the CPI report.
Right.
So, if that gets a nice number, then, hey, we could have a nice August for interest rates. That would be
Yeah.
the hope. So we'll
So
see.
now, I mean, because even from last week, we're looking right around 6.75 in that range. If somebody wants to pay some discount points, they can get to 6.5.
Yeah.
And a lot of the deals that we see, we're getting seller concessions. You get the seller to pay to get a lower rate down there. So a lot of good stuff happening. Lower rates. Hopefully, we're seeing that more inventory now. I understand from my referral partners that I talked to that houses are sitting in the market longer and sellers get more realistic. So some small price reductions. Coupled with the fact we have Hometown Heroes, which we talked about last week, and then it was announced Monday. So Hometown Heroes is out now. It's live. It's ready to go. It's basically the same as it was when it first came out. I don't know, was it 3 years ago? So there's more restrictions on who can get that money, right, Craig?
That's correct. So yeah, so it's out. We actually have already underwritten some borrowers under the program, and now you can't lock and reserve the down payment funds until the 18th of August. So
Right.
August 18th, it's first come, first serve. Reserve the funds. You got to be under contract. You should likely you should be approved already. So we've already had people in the hopper waiting, and we've already done underwriting on some of these deals. We don't know what the rates are going to be. That won't be available until then. So we're having to choose a rate and then we'll adjust. But yeah, so now it's back to kind of your first responder, so people in the medical profession, teachers, police officers,
Right.
firefighters. There's a list of eligible occupations, and sometimes interesting. It's a new twist this year. It may depend on where somebody works. So, it can be slightly more complicated. I would say, definitely, if you're a borrower, you happen to be listening to this, or you're an agent listening to this,
Right.
get your customer. I wouldn't make assumptions. Get them to talk to a loan officer, have an in-depth conversation about what their employment situation is, who they work for, because it actually can matter in some circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm a referring agent, I don't want to just assume they're going to get it. We definitely need to really drill down to say like where they work. Actually, the particular occupation could be deciding factors. So we definitely going to do that stuff up front. We're small. We're very customer service oriented. We get answers quickly, and we don't want to waste anybody's time. Really, really good stuff there. So that's great news. Something we've been waiting for a couple months. I mean, really.
Yeah, and again, for those of you not familiar, I mean, you can get 5% basically of the price of the property in zero interest, zero payment loan. Eventually you'll pay it back, but you can get up to $35,000 to help you buy a house today.
Yeah.
That can cover your down payment and your closing costs. That's tremendous. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago you did a transaction like this for a borrower, and they literally got into the transaction with $14.
Yeah. They had seller concessions, I think, and I think it was only like $12.73 for some reason sticks in my head, but yeah, it was like less than $14.
It was amazing.
Nuts.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
opportunity. Good time to buy, like you said. Sellers are flexible. You've got a selection of inventory to look at if you're a buyer. And so, so I mean, it's definitely, we had Ryan Pappy on a few weeks ago, and Ryan was talking about how insurance rates are actually improving finally.
Yeah,
So
they are.
there's a lot of good things.
I saw in the paper that there's some big insurance companies cuts. We had a big meeting here in the office today. We had Maylin Iglesias, our insurance agent. She was in talking about it and saying it's real. I mean, there's some insurance premium reductions coming right now.
Hey, good news. We'll
Good
take it.
news. Yeah, really good news. Some more good news. We usually talk about kind of three topics of conversation. We talk about interest rates, we talk about product, or a win. And we're going to close out our meeting, our podcast here with a big win, from what I understand, right, Craig?
So huge win. Today we had one of our loan officers that works in Dade County. Has been working with a customer for over a year, right? And this is a customer who he's buying a luxury property, and this is a gentleman who runs a very successful business, probably assumed, he would walk into any loan that he wanted to from anybody. And he found out that as good as his business is, his accountant is
It's
really,
even better.
I don't know if it's better than his business,
Right.
but his accountant made his tax return and his tax liability good enough that
Right.
it hurt him when he went to go apply for a regular mortgage.
Right.
And so what we had to end up doing for this gentleman was assist him with a loan where we looked at the cash flow of his business using bank statements. And so the gentleman bought almost close to a $3 million property, got
Wow.
about $2 million loan, and we underwrote him with his bank statements. And so, tremendous win for the customer, exciting win for the real estate agent and the loan officer. And, and we love when those deals come together. And it is wild how, sometimes, when you're going down this journey of going to buy your next property, it's not, hey, this is a 2-week deal. This gentleman was trying to find the right home and everything. And, has been working on it for, literally like a year.
That's a perfect example, really, of somebody, like you said, successful businessman, person, runs a great business, has a great accountant, it's great at tax time, thinking they could just walk in any bank. Hey, I got this cash flow coming in. I'm going to get this mortgage. I'm buying a $3 million home. And you said he was putting how much down? Like what, 30% down?
30%.
30% down. So he's probably thinking he's going to walk in, get this great product. And he apparently goes into a bank and they said no. And because we are who we are, we have access to all these different types of unique products and programs that maybe the bank just doesn't have.
And the guy still got a rate in the sixes. It was like,
that was my next question. What kind of financing terms were like in the sixes?
no, he got a nice loan. Definitely a loan that is nothing to sneeze at. So no, very good, very
So you're
nice.
telling me we didn't have to look at his tax returns? He got a rate in the sixes?
No tax returns.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bank statements.
Bank statements. So yeah,
That's huge.
yeah. No, it's definitely been. It's interesting, and that space of the non-traditional loans has really become pretty robust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While still being what I would say is responsible, which is maybe what it wasn't prior to the housing crisis.
Well, we all survived that. We know that.
Yeah.
So it's what do they say? Don't go there.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so we got that, and let me ask you this, because I know a realtor person's gonna say, oh, well, how long did it take to close? Did it take 5-6 weeks? What's the processing like and everything? What kind of a turn time are we looking at that for, Craig?
The year process wasn't because we had to try to get his loan approved.
Right.
It was selecting the right home and making
Sure.
offers and that whole thing. That's just a regular 30-day close.
Okay.
Nothing,
All right.
nothing weird as far as.
Yeah, we're not gonna slam it in 15 days, but a 30-day close is.
It's not that it's never happened before, but it didn't.
Right.
That wasn't the case in this particular
Okay,
case.
but
It
it's
wasn't
not going to be
necessary.
45 or 60. This is a pretty standard loan we can close rather quickly.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I've heard that from referral parties. Oh, these non-QM loans, specialty loans, they're going to take forever. I'm like, no, we do these loans just like every other loan, really.
Not at all. Yeah, no, not at all.
Really?
Pretty standard, normal stuff these days.
Yeah, actually, it's like a cleaner on our end too. We don't have to document as much stuff. But all right, sounds good. Well, we'll see how the world turns over the next few days, and we're going to actually have another podcast this week, right?
We have Carlos Gonzalez going to come and join us and talk
Yeah.
home inspections and and that type of thing, and that's super important for agents and home buyers. And Carlos is a really interesting guy and runs a great business. I'm excited to have a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, and he provides his service, which is he's not just an inspection company. So if you're a referral partner, even if you have an inspection company you use, I highly recommend you listen to Carlos, because he does some things that he can help you out with preparing for a listing. Before you even go on the listing appointment, that he can do some things for you to help you out in that regard. So it's going to be really, really good stuff. Awesome. Sounds good, Craig. Well, I'll see you again on Friday, but we're actually going to see our referral partners at
The closing table.
All right. Take care, Greg. See you then.
Thanks.